Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at Alpha Picks by Seeking Alpha. This is a stock recommendation service from the folks at Seeking Alpha that launched in 2022 and has done a really great job of beating the S&P 500 over the past few years. So in this review, I want to take a closer look at Seeking Alpha Picks and help you decide if this is the best stock picking service for you. So the main thing you get with Alpha Picks is 2 new stock recommendations every month. These stock picks are usually meant to be held between 12 and 24 months. And they're mostly focused on momentum stocks. So stocks that are already trending upwards in the market and beating the S&P 500 index, and that importantly have the fundamentals and the financial strength in order to keep beating the market. Seeking Alpha really draws on its expertise in fundamental analysis for Alpha Picks, and there's a lot of overlap that you'll see between Alpha Picks and, if you're a Seeking Alpha premium subscriber, the research in Seeking Alpha. So it's a really research-based, fundamentals-based service that's great for investors that need a little bit of help in order to beat the S&P 500. What you get in addition to the 2 picks, you can see here, there's a weekly market recap, information about new picks, as well as notifications for stocks to sell. If we look at the portfolio, you can see the important thing here is there's a holding percentage for every stock in the portfolio. So it's really easy to mimic the entire portfolio when you join Alpha Picks. Right now, there's about 32 stocks in the portfolio. There's usually anywhere between 25 and 40 at any given time. You also get these ratings. So this is really important if you have additional money to invest, or again, if you're new to the portfolio and just want to invest in the strongest stocks in it right now. So you can see there's strong buy ratings, buy, sell, and hold. Sells won't appear in the portfolio as they'll be closed picks. But these are really great for, just kind of jumping into the portfolio and being able to analyze which stocks are the best to double down on right now, or which stocks are the best to add to your portfolio if you're using Alpha Picks to help you inform how to build your own portfolio. If we look at some of the closed picks, we can get a little bit better sense of what Seeking Alpha invests in. You can see that it invests in a wide range of different sectors here. Again, the focus is on value and momentum. If we look at any pick here, you can see that they come with research reports that do a really nice job of explaining the current thesis behind this stock pick. So there's a quick summary that gives you an overview of the stock, a lot of information based on Seeking Alpha's research. So again, if you have Seeking Alpha Premium, some of this will look familiar, and it's really nice to have Seeking Alpha Premium alongside Alpha Picks, because you can then dive into each of these stocks in more depth and really dive into what's driving the company's financials, or what's driving their fundamental factor grades, these valuation, growth, profitability ratings that Alpha Picks assigns. I also really like this buy thesis. It's just a simple statement of why this stock is good to buy right now. It's kind of a bottom line. This is what you should know. This is why it's going to beat the market, we think. So it's just a really nice, well laid out research report that explains everything you need to know, and you don't have to be a financial expert in order to understand these reports. In terms of performance, I told you that Alpha Picks has been around since 2022. Over that time, it's beaten the S&P 500 about 143% to 50%, and that's as of May 2025. So it's a really impressive early performance, but it is still early days for this service, given that it's been about 3 years and most of the stocks in the portfolio are meant to be held for 1 to 2 years. So there's been some turnover, but it hasn't been around for a really long time. So this is, again, a really impressive early performance, but do take those performance numbers with a grain of salt. We haven't seen Alpha Picks go through a really big pullback like a recession or something like the COVID boom and bust. So when comparing to other stock recommendation services and their performances, just keep that in mind. I will say that Alpha Picks is a little bit more expensive than some other services at $499 per year. So it is nice to see this performance. For me, it really justifies that extra cost. So to help you decide on Alpha Picks, I do think it's worth comparing to the Motley Fool Stock Advisor service, since these 2 recommendation services have a lot in common. With Stock Advisor, you get 2 new stock recommendations every month, the same as for Alpha Picks. Each new recommendation comes with a research report, just like Alpha Picks, although I do find Stock Advisor's reports are a bit less technical in nature and focus more on a company's overall market opportunity. Another similarity is that Stock Advisor offers a ranking list of stocks that are already in the portfolio that you can consider doubling down on right now. This is pretty similar to AlphaPix ratings for stocks already in the portfolio, and I find it's equally useful if you have some extra cash in between new recommendations. What's different about StockAdvisor is that it's focused primarily on long-term explosive growth stocks. Their investing strategy is to hold stocks in the StockAdvisor portfolio for at least 5 years, and some of the companies currently in the portfolio have been there for more than 10 years. So StockAdvisor is geared much more towards long-term investors than active investors. StockAdvisor has also been around a lot longer than AlphaPix. It launched in 2002, and as of May 2025, it's returned 905% compared to 164% for the S&P 500. That's a really impressive long-term track record that very few competing services have been able to match. StockAdvisor has just set the bar really high. So AlphaPix is off to a good start, and Seeking Alpha is a solid platform with a strong team behind it. So I'm really excited to see if it can stack up over the long term. There's also a pretty big difference in price between these two services. AlphaPix costs $499 per year, as I said, which is pretty expensive. So you'll need around a $50,000 portfolio or more to really make this service worth it. StockAdvisor, on the other hand, costs $199 per year, and I'll include a discount code with this video so you can get your first year for just $99. That means StockAdvisor can be a good option even if you have a portfolio of only around $10,000 or $20,000. So is AlphaPix worth it? My answer is yes if you want to take a more active approach to investing and like the idea of focusing on momentum stocks with strong fundamentals. AlphaPix is pricey, so I definitely recommend having at least $50,000 to invest if you want to use the service. If you have a smaller portfolio or you prefer to hold on to stocks for longer, StockAdvisor could be the better option. I've got a full StockAdvisor review that I'll link with this video, so be sure to check that out if you want to learn more.